good afternoon. Welcome to deadline day. There is what? 9 hours to go.
9 crucial. Have you brought your yellow tie in as well? No? Oh.
Bring that in when I've got faith in people.
So you're saying you don't have faith?
Zero faith.
Zero faith?
Yeah.
Nothing going to happen?
No, Mangala.
Mangala's
done what we need.
Yeah, I mean, that's been going on anyway, hasn't it?
It is the 30th of August that the window shuts in 9 hours. No, it doesn't. It shuts in 10. I'm lying. 10 hours. 11 o'clock tonight. Yeah. Mangala, good signing. As for like the squad, I think he's a good player. He's a little bit up and down at times, but being capped 19 times by Belgium, he will be a good addition, Jack, won't he, to the squad?
Yeah, he is a solid addition, and I think, if we don't sign a winger today, I know it's still early days yet, but like you say, little faith if we don't. I don't think Mangala should be judged for that, because it won't be a case of, we've used the winger money to bring in Mangala.
No.
He's a loan. We wanted to bring him in anyway. We probably needed to bring someone like Mangala in regardless, and yes, absolutely, winger was and still is a much bigger priority, but that's got nothing to do with Mangala, so he should be judged for what he is and what he could bring to this team. And yeah, I like it. It's a practical signing, isn't it?
Yeah. The manager's wanted him, hasn't he? He's wanted a midfielder all summer. He said that on a few occasions. He wanted another central midfielder in the squad. He's someone he said yesterday, he's played in the Premier League, so therefore the manager will be happy with that experience. Capped, like I say, for Belgium 19 times. And he'll do a good job. They can play defensive midfield or as a central midfield player. It gives us that extra little bit of a boost in that centre of the park role, won't it?
Yeah, and let's not forget, only a couple of years ago, he was a relatively well thought of young midfielder in Europe who a lot of teams were getting linked with, and he's obviously been around the block since, played for a few clubs and maybe just struggled to settle into a degree, but there's certainly a player in there, and what it gives us, I think most importantly, is options in the middle, which we haven't had for a while, and an option to potentially even move away from a system that is limited, shall we say, and the option to use different personnel within that system if we choose to, explore different partnerships and actually look at a crop of central midfield players now and go, okay, who's the best for this game? No, he's not been playing well, but he's our best midfielder, so he has to stay in. It gives us the option a little bit more to go, no, well, actually for this game, I think we want Mangala and James Garner. We want Mangala and Garner Gay, Mangala and Eric Boonham, any of them together, and we have lacked that for a while, lacked a pacey winger for even longer, and it is a shame if we miss out on that, but I like the Mangala signing, and I think it's just a smart one by the club, low cost, coming in on a loan. Any update on whether there's an option to buy or not?
But that to me is irrelevant when people worry about it, especially with Textor being involved. To me, that's irrelevant now. Just have a look at him. We might get to next summer and decide there's better and younger.
Yeah, and
doing that. So
even if, and this goes for any loan player, if they have an option to buy or not, they'll have to play well in the first place to warrant that future fee, won't they? So that comes after, almost, doesn't it?
I was just looking, before he went to Lyon in January, he played 20 of Forest games. And started 19 of them, so he was sort of like a mainstay in their squad.
When you look at how big their squad is as well, and the other midfield talent, they had the likes of Sangare, who were potentially missing out at times for Mangala.
So I think you're right. I think it's a good sign.
It's practical.
The issue for me today is, and I'll ask you the question: if Everton don't sign a right winger today, has the window been a failure?
It'd certainly be very disappointing, wouldn't it? Because I think it's became very clear that we need a right winger. I think there was hope, and there was certainly hope from me that Jesper Lindstrom, although it's not his natural position, he could come onto that right wing spot and, make a name for himself there. Obviously, again, very early days, but to me, he doesn't look like a winger.
No,
he's a 10, isn't he? He's number 10, I think. That's quite clear now, so I think we desperately need a winger, and I think for me the confusing part is I look at Jake O'Brien for example. And I really like the look of Jake O'Brien, and I really liked the signing when we brought him in. I thought it made sense. And there's no doubt in my mind that over time, over the years, that'll come to be a really key piece of business for us. But if, we are struggling to put the money together for certain players, for players from clubs who aren't owned by a fella who's trying to buy us, who might give us, a little bit more wiggle room, and players like Nonto we've missed out on because we can't put up front what Leeds want.
Yeah.
And again, I like Jake O'Brien, but if he is a fourth choice centre-back for this manager, which he is at the moment, as Michael Keane's been starting ahead of him, why have we put that money on him instead of a winger?
You see, the way I look at it, and again, there's 10 hours, loads can happen. And I haven't ruled out a Wilfred Nonto bid about 5 o'clock from Everton, by the way. There's players who've come in, so if you went through them, Harrison, yeah, fine. Fine for the squad and all, like on loan. They've got Irabunim's been our best player, so sound, no issue with that. Lindstrom, I think he'll grow into the season, but I think we might
need some
have
time
to look at him off the striker as well, rather than just sticking him out wide. But that was fine. Njai, yeah, I think he'll grow into it as well, and he looks like an exciting kind of player, a dribbler and all that. That's a good signing. Jake O'Brien, I understand it, and I think he'll be a good signing for Everton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall, but I do know exactly what you're saying, because if it's not the manager's priority, why are we doing it? But hey, how he's here, and I think he'll be a good signing, so no issue with that. And Mangala, no issue with coming in, squad player, like you said, good, get him in, let's see what else. We need a centre forward, because our centre's, there's rumours Chelsea are gonna, they're sniffing around. Domino, Paul Joyce has done a thing saying Chelsea want him, but they're Everton and Chelsea are apart on the fee. But that, when you're apart on things like that and you see your options getting smaller, you tend to meet in the middle.
Yeah, you suddenly come a lot closer, don't you?
Exactly. So I wouldn't rule out David Fofana to Everton either by the end of the day, and I wouldn't rule out Dom to Chelsea. That's a separate issue. But for me, if Everton don't get the player, the position they've been after all summer, it will be a failure, because we've needed pace. We need pace. Tottenham, if anyone wanted any evidence that clubs look at us and start laughing at how slow we are, Tottenham wear it on Saturday.
Yeah.
All just stood on the halfway line going, go ahead. Any you go for a jog and we'll catch you, no worries. And Everton wanted, they tracked Nonto all summer, they wanted Yankuba Minter, they were all day with him, they were tracking others, Jaden Philogene they were looking at, they want pace in that wide area. Ernst Nuamar, who now doesn't want to come here, but might consider going to Fulham. Ask yourself a question, why? Probably because he doesn't think he's going to play with no Premier League experience, or might not like the way we play the game. I don't know. I'm still hoping John Textor can have a word in his ear and persuade him to come here, but it's that. But without Nuamar, I'm hoping Everton had other options as well, to go, well, if he doesn't come, there's this player and there's this player. Because we can simply, in my opinion, we can't let the window shut tonight without getting a fast wide player in, because otherwise, what have you done all summer? If that was your big, and it was the big target, there's long enough to get a deal done. There's lots of players who can run. I said to you yesterday, why didn't we get Benny, who's faster than any of our players and scored goals and played in the Premier League and was £8 million plus add-ons? If you wanted Premier League experience,
if you needed,
it's not a massive outlay. Why didn't we go and get that?
Yeah,
worry for me.
It is. It's a little bit confusing, because like you said, I really like all the signings we've made. You just went through them then. There's not a single one of them that I look at and going, bad signing, we shouldn't have got him. Even the ones that you're not exactly sure where they'll fit into the team, like a Jesper Lindstrom, he's only on loan, and Jake O'Brien as well. Even if the manager doesn't rate him as highly as he maybe should, he is going to be key for us in the future. I've got no doubt in that. Yeah, he is, but we have to think for the now, don't we? And it feels a little bit like, say, ever gone to the shop like late at night, not long before it closes, and you're like, I need to get some bread for tomorrow or whatever, and like obviously the shelves are all a bit thin and there's no breads, so you're like, instead of just going 5 minutes down the road to the next shop, which is like 24 hour, it'll have loads of bread on the shelves, you go, I just get this Victoria sponge cake instead, then that looks nice. You know what I mean? But you need bread for the morning and you've not got it and you've opted for something else, which is still nice and still good, but it's not what you needed and you spent your last £3 on that as well, so now you can't afford bread.
It's like, it's a bit weird. I just find it weird, and I will find it weird because if you look at it and go, you need something. You know you need it. You've admitted you need it. You've spent your time tracking it all. But
the evidence is there that you need it.
You haven't got that one element that changes your team a bit. Now, Nuamar would have changed it because of his pace. Now, he'd have had to grow and he's a little bit inconsistent, but he's quick. You can give him the ball and he goes. And therefore, he's a threat to teams. We haven't got that. So I understand there'll be other wingers you look at and go, we could get him. Like Raheem Sterling could change Everton. Right? But Everton have got no chance of getting Raheem Sterling, right? And some people might want him and others might be going, what? Want him anywhere near me? But he would score goals for Everton and he's quick and therefore he's a threat. And you might look and go, if it wasn't Nuamar because you couldn't get him or you can't get Nonso because Leeds wouldn't want him, you go, okay, we really want him but we can't get him. You get something that you haven't got in your squad. So you drop down a level, and that's what I'm saying about Ogbenny.
Someone like Ogbenny's
all right. He's Semenyo at Bournemouth is powerful, quick on that right-hand side. These are players who come out the Championship. In fact, Semenyo come from Bristol City, didn't he? Didn't Ogbenny come from a League One side?
He was at Rotherham, and I think they might have went down at
or if not Championship. But they're both quick and both cause problems. They're not amazing, and there's better options around Europe. But if you can't get like the ones that you go, you know what, they will change.
They've got pace and everything else.
Why didn't we get Maximilian Bayer, who went to Dortmund, 25 million from Hoffenheim? We could have got him. He wanted to come to the Premier League. Really quick. Because there's no invention. Now, all I know, Kevin Thelwell might have said to Sean Dyche, Bayer plays in Germany, Hoffenheim's done really well, interested in the Premier League, not on big wages. We could get him and the manager's gone, hasn't played in the Premier League.
Yeah, not for me.
Right? Not for me. He might have done that. He might not. Everton might not have even looked. John Dyche might have gone, yeah, absolutely, get him. But we didn't. But there's quick players around. So if you can't get Nonso, I mean, Crescencio Somerville, West Ham done that job quickly. He's quick. Right, he's not an out pace, like knocking and he'll run after it, but he is quick.
He's certainly faster than what we've got.
Anything we've got. You have to get what you haven't got. So there'll be a player now around Europe who is fast, who Everton can get today. And they have to have that list ready. And they have to go and get it, even if he's not on Nuamar's level, even if he's not on Nonso's level, but he's faster than what we've got. I'm not sure I can pay 30 million for it.
No.
But we need
you have to go and get it, don't you? And even if it is a player like someone like Benny that we could have moved for, and I don't massively rate him as a player. I think he is of that sort of level, like, Championship, do a job, lower end of the Premier League, but he's got pace. And pace on its own, even if you brought in a player with very little technical skill but was fast as lightning, he'd give us something we don't have. He'd open us up a lot more because he'd give us that option just for the out ball, just to get up the pitch a little bit quicker because it's killing us.
Absolutely. Dan, how can you say we need a right winger before a striker? It's beyond me because we've got 3 strikers.
Do you mean a striker before a right winger?
He's saying, how can I say we need a right winger before a striker? Because we ain't got a right winger, mate, with any pace. That's that easy. If Dom goes, absolutely we need a centre forward, but we're not going to go and buy a centre forward when we've got 3.
Yeah, that's it, innit? I think we do need to address the centre forward situation,
absolutely,
but we have to wait for it to change first, don't we? Otherwise, we'd have 4 centre forwards, but no right winger.
We're just not in that position. We absolutely need a centre forward. I've said it all summer. I'd have told Dom. I wanted Dom to stay, wanted him to sign a new contract, but I'd have told him on August the 1st if he hadn't signed a deal, he wouldn't be playing. And the centre forward was would have been a priority with a right winger. Another centre back was no priority to me. Jake O'Brien, I think he'll be good for Everton, don't get me wrong. He wasn't my priority. But Everton went and Everton went spent money that maybe they could have used elsewhere is a better way of putting it. I do think O'Brien will be good for us, absolutely I do. We're a priority. But centre forwards, I've been on about, go and get Kareem Konate. You're not going to get him now because it's too late, but you could have got him with 25 million quid. We could have got, there's loads. Kevin Denke's another one. Yeah, look, go and get. There's other players. Go and take a chance on certain players. Garassi, why didn't they go back for him before he went off? So I'm not dismissing the centre forward thing, but it's all about where you've got the money and what your needs are. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't go today, Everton have got 3 centre forwards. But if that window shuts and we don't have a quick right winger, then what really changes? Nothing changes. Where if Everton would have got Nuamar with pace, with that kind of pace, and Dom didn't go, that potentially changes us.
Well, you've added at that point,
gives us
haven't
something
you?
different though with what we've got. That's what we're saying. That's all I'm saying. Ped, go ahead.
It's max of not having a plan, isn't it? Because the simple fact is that if you can go into the summer and you got your first choice target, go and get them, you know, in that position, and then you go down the list. The plan, there hasn't been a plan, so therefore it feels like you're just grabbing all the things. Jake O'Brien came along, and again, no one's making Jake O'Brien scapegoat for this, but you feel like you're grabbing hold of something that might be essentially the number one thing you need, but he's available, he's there, so you're going to get him. And it's been like that for the last 3 or 4 years, hasn't it? You know, we do need a right winger more than we need anything. We need a fast winger. We need at least one fast winger in the squad, and we've got far too many left wingers, so we need a right winger, and that could change our team for the better and provide ammunition for the centre forwards we've got. A centre forward we'd be in the market for isn't going to score goals unless they have ammunition.
Yeah.
The same as Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the same as Beto, and the same as Timothy.
Yeah.
So of course it's the most important. Don't get me wrong, if we were in the market for an absolute top class.
Oh God, yeah. Lukaku, absolutely.
They make their own goals. They'd say get the ball into his feet and I'll
turn your mic up a bit, mate.
Oh, sorry, that's because
Ned's turned them all down again. Sorry, I do apologise. My mic was down because Ned turned them all down again.
Right, start again. If we were in the market, what Ped was basically saying was, we've got centre forwards now that don't score because there's no ammunition.
No, what
Carry
I was
on,
saying was, sorry, while I was rudely interrupted by Ned before he even started, was that we don't have a plan because of the position we're in, and we're scattergun, and that's why we've gone and gotten Jake O'Brien, because he's become available and we've took that opportunity. That's fair play. But a team needs to have a plan at the beginning of a window and say, this is what I need. What's our first choice? Okay, we missed out on our first choice in that position, so let's go to the second choice. And it simply hasn't happened. And we've just been scattergun. And as I was saying then, a centre forward would have to be absolute top class. And we ain't in the market for a top class centre forward. So we've got to provide the ammunition to a centre forward, and that comes by having a bit of pace, at least in one of the wide positions, and give you that option. And it's something that this team massively misses. And I think I agree, it's a massive failure if we come out of a window again where 2 windows in a row, or 2 summer windows in a row, where we've gone for one target in Nonto, not got him, and then gone, right, that's it then, there aren't any other right wingers in the world. And that's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. I just don't get that at all. And yet, at the same time, you spend the money on other players. That's just so weird to me.
Is it a little bit like paying for a fresh coat of paint on your car when the engine's broke?
Where he is again with his analogies.
Listen, that's what I'm here for. It's going to be a long day, so we're going to need a lot of analogies, aren't we? And I've got them.
They're gonna need a winger today, a fast one. So that's where we go. There we go. There's a lot of players there. There's a lot of players out there who can run. But what can you do?
You'd think as well, wouldn't you, that like wingers who aren't fast, you'd think they'd be sort of like few and far between in football. So how do we only seem to stockpile ones who can't run?
We've collected the ones that can't.
You'd think, like, you know, like as a kid, you know, when you're coming up and you're getting into the game and, you know, I want to be a winger. Can you run? No, and I can't use my right foot either. It was, well, you're not a winger then. You know what I mean? You go and play somewhere else. You're collecting them like infinity stones.
Great. It is. But I do find it bizarre. I really do find it bizarre that you can get this late into a transfer window without getting your number one thing. I just find it like, what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? What is the plan? There just never seems to be a plan. But we'll see.
Aren't we here every window, though?
Yeah.
Every window
we are.
now.
Of course
For the
we are.
last 3 windows, we came in on
let's be
deadline day.
honest, we need the ownership sorted and a total clear out is what we need, really. Get people in who know how to go and get players and know what targets to target. Because Everton may still do it, don't get me wrong. There's 9.5 hours to go. They might be speaking to someone now and they're confident that deal will get done. But we shouldn't really be leaving it until 9.5 hours before the window shuts to get deals done.
No, definitely not. And whether it's a consequence of our financial situation or it is a little bit of both, but it seems a common factor with Everton under Felwell that we chase players for a long, long time and don't get anywhere. And we spent a month for this window going to Leeds. Can we have that in Nanto? And they go, no. And we leave it a few days and we go, what about now? I'm like, no, mate, we're not selling them to you. A few days go by. What about now? Sell them to us now. And we spent a month doing that with Leeds. And I understand, they spoke about, we want to build relationships with players. We want players that are certain. They want to come to Everton and get all that and get you limited in who you can shop with if you can only offer them certain amounts of money over very long periods. But surely there comes a point where, look, it's been 2 weeks and we've had no movements. Like, we need to start looking at other players now.
That's what you'd think, wouldn't you? Maybe Everton will. Who knows?
And I get that's a simplification from someone who obviously doesn't work within the game, and it probably is a bit more complicated than that. But just on the face of it, on a basic level, shouldn't you generally be operating around those principles of we're getting nowhere and we've got limited time?
I think so. Well, one player who's left the club today on loan is Jensen McCarthy. He's joined League Two side Chesterfield on a season-long loan. So good luck to him. He has been in the Everton squad for the first few games. He's gone off there. Gary Ward says, Hardy Graham says the silence around Dom and the winger is deafening. Darmid says, surely Dom won't be let leaving this late in the window. Can't. If Everton get money that they think, we can't do anything. We can't do without it. They'll let him go, won't they?
Yeah, I think for most key first team players, I'd agree on that principle of it's too late to let them go. But right now, unless the situation changes, he's gone at the end of the year regardless, and he's going to be gone for free. So if you can get money for him, and you know what, there are some players in world football that clubs will look at and go, yeah, even if we can sell them now for big money or we can lose them for nothing at the end of the deal, what he'll give us over the course of this last year, it's worth losing him for free. There's none of them players at Everton. No. Every player at Everton has a price, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. Hello to one. Stuart says Dom to Chelsea for 25 million. Think we could put it all down on a crazy Ivan Toney last minute bid. He's going to Saudi. Ivan Toney's all agreed, apparently. Harry says, talk around Twitter, is Nuamar going to Fulham? We're not getting our fast winger, are we? I was excited for him to learn the nuts and the bolts.
Yeah.
I don't think Marco will have been saying nuts and bolts to him when he's on the phone, put it that way. Matt says, Dom will lose us a fee and affect our chances of adding while sitting there looking for a free transfer. He should be held in the same regard as some hold Barkley for shafting us, if not worse. Evan Viking says, I don't see us signing any pacey winger at all. We're going to repeat the failures of the last few transfer windows. Mike says, I have zero faith we'll get Nuamar. No, he'll go off to Fulham, because you would, wouldn't you, if you had the chance, I guess. Tazul says, yeah, not getting our pacey winger. Ryan says, maybe Everton are thinking like Ned, got to save money to pay for fuel. If you've watched the new Mad Max movie, you can see how valuable fuel is and how very costly it could be. There you go. Bill says, no winger, surely to goodness we could loan one of Chelsea's 20. Who would he give us, though? Like I'd have said Nonny Madueke, but
Yeah,
he's just come in and got a hat-trick in about 3 minutes.
He's
so
in favour now, isn't he?
playing.
Yeah.
They're not giving us Pedro Neto. Mudryk,
No. Oh, yeah, I mean, Mudryk, if you'd get
He's
him in,
fast.
he'd be a great sign.
he's fast. Mike, not happening, mate. Sadly. Liam, with desperate need of pace in wide areas. Funny how all the fans can see it, innit? But the club doesn't seem to understand it, but we'll see. Evan Viking says Alan Myers has indicated the player wasn't keen on joining us, so why did we go after him in the first place? If that's true, of course, I don't see how we can chance Nonto for 2 seasons, know what Leeds wanted, know we wouldn't pay it to not get anyone else in the world of football. Because it's Everton, mate, isn't it? Really. Steve P says it will 100% be a failure if we don't sign one. Nobody could give an argument for it not being a failure because of how glaringly obvious it was yet again. Would be a failure us not signing anyone with real pace. I don't think there's anybody who could defend it.
No, the only sort of saving grace for the window is the players that we have brought in are good signings, but you're just missing your main thing, aren't you? You're missing what you need.
It's, again, absolutely regret. I absolutely reiterate that we've signed some decent players. There's no doubt about that, and some will be really good for us. If you don't get the thing you need, and the thing, it's what's embarrassing about it for me is you're chasing this position the whole summer. Everybody knows what you're after, and then the window shuts and you don't have that position when there's a world of players. That is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it's a failure. There's no question about it. Now, Everton might not fail. There's a lot of hours left in windows. These deals can be done. So, but if it was to shut right now, I think you would have to say, yeah, we got some decent players in, but we failed as a football club because we identified a position that is glaringly obvious to everybody in world football that there's no pace in this team. It's our own players done a bleeding social post the other week where they were scratching their heads at who could run, which is the biggest. I don't even know why the football club allowed that out.
Yeah.
Because it was embarrassing. So the club have got work to do, and I'm sure Kevin Thelwell is working his socks off now, because if he isn't, then he should be leaving the football club.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
He will be working his bollocks off till 11 o'clock.
Do you think it's as obvious to the club as it is to us how desperately we need a right winger to come in with a bit of pace?
Well, if it isn't, then people are shouldn't be in football. And I'm sure all of the recruitment team and Kevin Thelwell know how important it will be to get patient. Now, can they do the job? Can they get them in? I don't know. I personally would have thought you'd have been trying to do this before the ball was even kicked, but that's just me being wacky, I guess. Expecting, good practice to be implemented.
Let me just do the state of play.
Yeah, go on.
So, Mopai's gone.
Woohoo!
On loan with a view, it's a permanent, and there's all kinds of deal. It could be up to 6 million.
Yeah.
Mason Allgate's been linked with a move with Sheffield Wednesday.
They've moved to Leon collapsed this morning, didn't it? Or last night. So
that's potential. Delhi, who's not actually our player, but has been talked about all summer. Lille are interested in him. And what's the winger's name?
Khaled Jangpata.
No, the one who's not signing for
Nuamar.
Oh, Ernest Nuamar. Yeah.
Ernest Nuamar is looking like he's going to Fulham for 15 million. Because he doesn't want to play for Sean Dyche.
Which is the actual fact.
There you go. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as it stands, is staying at Everton, but Chelsea could come in for him late, and Fofana would be part of that deal.
Good.
So that's where we are right now. Jensen Metcalf, as Baz said, has left the club, gone on loan.
And also Eli Campbell went to Ross County yesterday as well.
So that's where we are right now.
Thank you very much, Ped. Keep looking. Things can happen. Lots can happen. I mean, if Everton ended up with Wilfred Nonso, I don't think they will, but if Bolo Leeds are getting someone else, just signed someone else as well today. And obviously got Solomon as well this week, didn't he?
Yeah.
If Everton ended up with Nonso instead of Nuamar, then you'd go, okay, I actually think Nuamar's got a higher ceiling, but Nonso's probably more ready now.
I think
for Fofana, I think people will go, sound. That's
Yeah.
positive, really positive.
I think everyone would go, yeah, sounds fair enough. You've done it, but why did you make such a meal out of it? Like, why did it? Like, you take such big risk of, taking it to the wire and potentially missing out. Like, it still would get where we needed to be, you know what I mean? Would have these players in, so, like, it would be a good day, but it wouldn't bode well that we came that close to missing out again, like we have for the last few windows, and like we probably will again. It suggests a slightly bigger underlying problem.
Bill says, when you look at our business, we identified a pacey winger and haven't got one. For all the decent additions we've made, that is a glaring issue. Clearly, we don't have the cash. Going off what the Bobble said last night, we're relying on him. No, I think we do have the cash. And will Deitch even play them? Mangala could allow Dukes to move out the team and play 3 in midfield.
Just on the super chat,
Yeah.
Dave Murray says, Dave Murphy says, Everton's 4 times 100 metre relay team. I don't know what that means.
That was the post. That was
that
the
what he
social
put?
post.
Okay.
That was the one where they couldn't identify anyone with pace who could run in it. Which is glaring, isn't it? Barry says, dream window, non-toe in and Richarlison on loan. Holgate and Mopai out. Dom stays, although I'd sacrifice Dom for a Richie loan. Yeah. Jonathan says we needed a winger. We need a winger. Pointless getting O'Brien if Holgate and Keane stay. 5 centre-backs in the squad isn't balanced. AD, I've done that one. Bill says O'Brien's low down payments, Nonso's 15 to 18 million down payments. I mean, it wasn't, but wasn't that much. But yeah,
No, I do understand. We probably haven't paid that much for O'Brien up front, but it just if money is that precious, you know what I mean, and that whatever has gone up front for O'Brien, if that could have been included in a deal for a winger, and look, if this manager was playing Jake O'Brien, I'd go, yeah, fair enough, because he's a quality young player and he's going to do great things for us, but you'd assume the manager has some say in signings and has some understanding of what money he can spend, and he's allowed the best part of 20 million over a long-term deal to go on a player he doesn't seem to fancy.
Yeah, David says afternoon from cloudy Cyprus. Good afternoon, David. I'm sure it'll go sunny and you'll enjoy it. Bill says, I also agree that our pacey players are available for less money. We don't seem to look beyond Premier League experience at times. Look at Bournemouth, they have several wingers and they didn't all cost 20 million. Nope. Jack, Blue Keely says, Jack talking about cakes while his debt of cakes for the Toffee TV team of cakes is still outstanding.
The debt will be paid, and that's all you need to know.
That's it. Steve P says, if I was a young winger, I'd never want to play under this manager, to be fair, which is going to make it even more difficult to get anyone in, especially with a lack of cash.
But that's a good point, actually, because if I put to you, say you're a player who has no emotional attachment to Everton, you come up in Europe somewhere else and someone said, would you rather play for Marco Silva, who, say what you want about him as a manager, but he has a decent track record of attacking players, or Sean Dyche, who, you know, has done good things in his career at points of teams like Burnley, but isn't renowned for his ability of getting the absolute most out of flashy young players. Most of them probably are saying Marco Silva, aren't they?
Yeah, of course they are. Fulham play good football. And it's London, so there's 2 big pluses. Everton don't play good football, it's the way it is. So, yeah, maybe.
Well, if you're a young winger and you go, oh, Marco Silva, who's he worked with and done well with, and you go, oh, well, Richarlison, he took him to Europe, brought him into Watford, he did really well, and then he actually struggled once Marco Silva left. He brought him to Everton and he became Everton's best player under Marco Silva, and, you know, really developed his game, and then got a big move to Spurs to play in the Champions League. That is already, that one player is more than Dyche's track record of attacking players.
We'll see. He could end up with something, but it's, you know, it shouldn't be even it shouldn't even be something you think about. Everton or Fulham, you shouldn't have to think any more than that. Everton want, you should be here thinking, because I'd be thinking, well, I'm going to go there. They're a big club, all right, they weren't very good, but I'll probably be here longer than the manager, and if I do well, I'll get a move to another big club.
That should be how it is, but it's just not the way modern football is it? He's not probably planning on being for Fulham for all that long either, if it goes well, because the young players, aren't they? They want to play at the very top.
Yeah. Bill says even Chong from Luton for 10 million. Juan says Everton already knew after last season they lack speed, so if they don't know today, it's not a good window. David says slow geriatrics who've played in the Prem are the Dyche model. Yeah, Bill says agree. We did this last summer, couldn't get Nonso and gave up on any pacey winger, and we've got even less pace now because we haven't got Danjuma or Dobbin. Yeah. Yep. There is. I mean, you've got to look and go. There's still a lot of time. Things can happen and opportunities can pop up, but you've got to be thinking that already we should be further down the line than what we are now. Maybe they are. You don't have to. The club could be right now. I've agreed to deal with someone, so you've got to just go.
Well, that's it, and that's what deadline day is. You sit there refreshing your phone and thinking, any minute now, hopefully I'll hear, they're making really good progress with this young winger who, the deal's gone under the radar, but the majority of it's done. There's medicals happening now, you know what I mean? But you just get further and further into the day without seeing that, and you're like, any minute now.
David Murphy says how many young players has Dyche developed on the super chat. Thank you, David. Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, it's McNeil.
That's it, isn't it?
Ashley Barnes was a young lad when he started working with him.
Kunal Desai says, Baz, all the players you've named, how do you know they want to come to Everton and want to play under Dyche, knowing they will not improve? No, I know, but I just think sometimes you have to back yourself as a player and you get in the Premier League, don't you? And do the business. And then use it as a stepping stone. Why not? Everton are a big club. All eyes on them. You're in the Premier League. You'll obviously get decent money. But it's one of them, isn't it? I just find it really strange. In a world where they've got every bit of data, they've got White Scout and everything else, they've got scouts watching players, they must have lists all over the place, and you'll get players who will always want to move, who are quick. And here we are, on deadline day with 9 hours, 23 minutes to go.
But the thing is, the ability threshold to come into this Everton team as a right winger isn't that high, you know what I mean? It's not like Man City, who are trying to buy a new number 10 to come into their team and go, right, we need someone who's better than what we've got, what I mean? And they put it in the search thing and 0 results found, you know what I mean? If Everton go, right, we need a right winger who's better than what we've got, and who's a bit faster than what we've got, there'll be
17 pages.
Yeah, no, they'll have information on dozens of players out there who fit that bill, you know what I mean? And one of them would surely A, be affordable, and B, be open to coming, because there'll be a lot of players out there who fit that threshold.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. It is, Alex. That couldn't be further from the truth with Nuama. As far as we've been told, the deal was agreed. There's no problem with we couldn't afford the down payment for Nuama. It's nothing to do with that. Club's agreed. It's the player himself. So, there you go. Our only hope is John Textor gets on the blower and goes, lad, not selling you to Fulham, and you're going to Everton, mate. Off you go. But that would have happened by now, I think, if that was happening. So there you go. There you go. Declan says, I'm not desperate. I'd settle for a Dharma Traore just to have pace.
My God.
Yeah. I know, Fitzy, I know that Leon are getting Wilf Zaha on loan. So Neumar's not going to stay at Leon. And therefore, if he's choosing Fulham over Everton, that is terrifying in my opinion. Absolutely terrifying. So there you go. Let everybody... People will make of it what they will. But we'll have to see. There is a lot of time to go, and there will be other options. So David Murphy says, who in the right mind would choose Deitch over other managers? And Father Stingray says TalkSport have 300 people watching their deadline day show, and we've got 1,400.
Yeah, have that talk sport. No offence, like.
Yeah, and Freshari, you're absolutely right. Lardy Ramazani went for £6 million, I think, to Leeds. Is another one.
Is he the Belgian lad? Ramazani, yeah.
So they got him. He used to play for United, didn't he? He's young as well. SpongeBob, hello, welcome. A new member.
Good to have you here, SpongeBob.
Good to have you, mate. Good to have you. Get Patrick and get Squidward and all them to join as well. That'd be good.
How's Squidward again, lad?
Bellum. Chelsea, what wingers have they got?
Chelsea, they've got Mudryk, Sterling, who's going out, Madueke, Palmer, if you count him.
That's all.
There's a Brazilian lad, I'm not sure, Angelo, is he out on loan or is he still there?
The one he's just got, yeah. I'd have even took it, well, I wouldn't have even took, of course I'd have took Caleb Wiley, because he can play, although to be fair, he's more on the left, but at least he's someone who was quick, but he's gone off on loan to Strasbourg or something, hasn't he? You know, those kind of players who can run, because we just haven't got anyone. We haven't got anybody with a bit of pace. But, hey-ho, what can you do? What can you do? Everton will complete a signing today, and that is Oral Mangala. We're just waiting, obviously, at some stage today. That'll be confirmed. He will be on a season-long loan with the club. So
I think it'll be telling what time they announce him. I think if they wait to announce him and announce him later, so it's, you know, people go, oh, at least we still got him across the line. I think that's a very big indicator we're not bringing anyone else in. Whereas if they announce him as soon as possible, it shows that, you know, at least going for it, and they think there's hope.
Isn't it sad though that we know by their behaviours what's happening, because they do it all the time to us? That is a real. When we get new owners, they need to rip up anything at that football club and start again.
Yeah, it all needs to go, doesn't it?
New behaviours, new cultures, because the one we've got at the moment is just so poor and so predictable. You know, nothing comes out the club. There's just nothing. The PR side of it's poor. We put social posts out which tells everyone we haven't got a player who can run in the squad. It's just embarrassing. There's just so many negative things about it. You know, by the behaviours, they'll keep a player back until 10 o'clock just so they can say we signed someone before the day. All of that's got to change. It's all got to change, and there's got to be some real work done on positive PR stuff, because at the moment it's just simply not good enough. It's not good enough. Let's see anyway. Let's see what happens. It'd be great, wouldn't it? It'd just be great if they surprised us with, you know, another shock signing later on. He was quick, he got you, and I'll quite clearly, it's past no player we got now will be involved anyway tomorrow, because it's well past the 12 o'clock deadline for them to be involved. But it would be a real boost going into that international break.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they could bring someone in who's quick and stuff, if, you know,
you've got them to work with potentially as well over the 2 weeks, haven't you? If you don't go away. And yeah, it would be lovely if, you know, especially under the radar as well, it just comes out in an hour's time. You're Everton are close to completing the signing of Wilfred Gnonto. You know, he's on his way to Merseyside for his medical.
And all that, yeah. It is thingy, isn't it? Just have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully that would happen. That'd be a huge boost, but they risk it going the other way, you see. Don't they? They risk it shutting the way it is now. People just being like, nothing's changed. We needed more firepower, a bit of pace. We haven't got it, and then we've got a big game tomorrow. Imagine if we did get like that signing that everyone was buzzing about. Then that will put a real big boost tomorrow as well, wouldn't it? Going into that
absolutely,
game.
Because people can look, even if obviously they can't be involved tomorrow, people will go, well, there's another 35 games to play in the league this season, and for those 35 games, we're going to have this player available that is going to add so much to our team. And, you know, we could come away from this window going, look, we've pretty much got everything we needed, really, and, you know, we've worked within tight budget constraints and got what we needed. Like, fair play to the manager, fair play to the recruitment team, and I'm excited to see what this team does now. When was the last time any of us said that? I'm excited about Everton.
Who knows? Who knows, eh? Listen, if there's any fast wingers out there looking for a club today, then get in touch with Everton.
Yeah, or, you know, if you know anyone.
If you know any,
if you make Jay,
quick.
who, you know, if he's quick,
If he's rapid,
good with
get him
both
down
feet,
to Finch Farm.
let him know.
You know, and see if you can.
But if he's got like a part-time career as like a mechanic or a plumber, like that'd be ideal because he'd know the nuts and bolts then. So
Just dropping facts. Just dropping facts.
that would be ideal. Nuts and bolts preferred. You know what I mean? Premier League experience essential.
What about if he could smell what a victory smells like? You know, if he knows the smell of a victory.
Yeah, I mean, and we're certainly missing a couple of them, aren't we? As much as, you know, it seems to be crucial to the manager, he seems to have neglected that part of his transfer strategy. He's got his nuts, he's got his bolts, but he doesn't have a smeller. And that's what we're missing. Missing a player who can sniff out a victory from miles away. You know, like the pigs they used to like look for truffles and that. Like one of them. They can smell victory.
Steve P says
Put him
get
on the
Lecky
wing.
legs in.
He likes, is he still a thing?
Don't know,
Is
but
he still about?
He'll be faster than that. Faster than
With
that.
them long legs, he'll cover distance,
Yeah,
won't he?
absolutely.
Probably just cartwheel down the wing.
Mm.
It's 1:45. I'm not being funny. You better fucking pick up.
Finishing in a minute. It's all about other clubs buying players.
Yeah.
There's loads going on elsewhere.
Talk about
exciting.
the exciting ones.
It's absolutely exciting.
Look at these clubs buying players.
Ipswich getting Breuer. It's back on. The deal is back on. There's loads of exciting stuff going on elsewhere. Loads of clubs aren't going, oh, we don't know who to get now.
Yeah. Well, that player he spent a month getting told no by, he said no again. We ain't expecting that.
One bit of depressing news for Arsenal fans. Mikel Merino's ruled out for 6 weeks after getting injured in training. It's not great, is it? When you buy someone and they get that
Yeah.
injury.
I mean, they had that with Timber last year, didn't they? And he ended up out for a year on his first start.
Sambo says Usain Bolt, you nutter. He has got the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call him a nutter, and he seems like a very intelligent
Quick,
man,
though.
but yeah, rapid.
He would be all right on our right wing, wouldn't he?
Yeah, God, could you imagine? Imagine the shirts would sell as well.
Can we go and get Nunes off Liverpool? On loan. Just play him on the right. We'll make him all right.
I don't think there's less of a Sean Dyche player on the planet than Darwin Núñez.
No, there isn't. SpongeBob, who's just become a member, has now done a super chat. Thank you very much. Has said they're great to be part of the family. Thank you, top man. Thank you. Can you now just bell that Thelwell fella? Tell him to get us a fast winger. There is 9 hours and 12 minutes left of the window. Everton could easily do 3 deals in that time. And we'll all be bouncing later. Absolutely bouncing later. They will bring in Orel Mangala. That's a fact. Anything could happen. Maybe R7 will turn up later on.
Just show up like a lost child outside Finch Farm.
He's normally
Just like holding his boots in his hands.
So, get him here.
Yeah.
His Everton shirts. Do him. Let's do him. Get him in.
Yeah, bring him in.
Spurs got any fast wingers?
They've got Timo Werner. Know what I mean?
Back though, haven't he?
Yeah, they've got the lad they've just brought in who started against us, that Odderberg. Yeah, and
Quick, isn't he? 15 million. Oh,
Brennan
no,
Johnson.
Or 25. Brennan, he plays though.
Yeah.
There must be clubs who've got 12 fast wingers and they don't play them all. Gotta be. Get Reece Nelson from Arsenal.
Yeah, that'd make sense.
Miles better than anyone we've got. Arteta's not really that arsed about him.
You'd assume that'd be a doable deal, like, wouldn't you?
Of course, but, they probably don't even know who he is. Hey, yo. Celtic Vape says, knowing us, they'll announce Mangala at 22.59.
Yeah.
Gav, EFC01, says R7 is as old as he is better than our entire squad combined. I'm talking about the original R7, Richarlison.
Yeah.
That Cristiano trying to nick that.
Not him. The real one.
He's CR7. We're talking the R7.
The one who played for Watford. The real one.
The real one.
Yeah.
Peter Wingies outside Finch Farm in his boots. Get him in. He is quicker than any of our wide players.
He probably still would give them a race, you know.
Of course he would. He's Adam Wingy. He's Adam Wingy. Remember Jason Roberts, who should be at Wigan? Striker, he was fast. Get him in.
Don't remember him. When was he there?
Years
Started a long time ago.
You know, Paul Giles time or even before that, but powerful and quick. Get all of them in.
Victor Moses.
Victor Moses. Play for Liverpool, lower kind of ruined it.
Yeah, I mean, you said get Darwin Núñez in a minute ago and he plays for Liverpool.
I know, but I'd have him for now just for the entertainment.
It'd be funny, wouldn't it?
And he's fast.
Yeah.
In fact, if we had Darwin Núñez, mate, people would love him. He got 17 goals for us in all competitions. He'd be lauded.
But I mean, he got 17 goals, having 5 chances a game, put on a plate for him by Salah and McAllister. I don't think he'd scored a goal for us.
Yeah, he probably would.
You'd have Noah Lyles, 27.
100%.
Good age.
World champion.
A world champion. He's confident.
Yeah.
Plays ill. Run through COVID.
Ghost. I didn't think about plays ill as in plays ill.
No. Run by who's having COVID.
Who was, you know, the other runner for Jamaica back in the day when Usain Bolt was doing it? Blake, was it? Johan Blake? And like he would have been like the main man in running if it weren't for he just happened to be alive at the same time as Usain Bolt. Bring him in. So he'll have something to prove.
Just happened to be alive.
Yeah.
At the same time as Usain Bolt.
We had another super chat, Mr. H88. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Says Baz and the team, what are the 3 untapped markets you will prioritise for signings if you could make the decisions? South America, without a shadow. Without a shadow. Brazil, Argentina, places like that. Uruguay.
You know what? I'd look to Scandinavia actually, because a lot of these players we get linked with or always seem to want, a lot of them seem to get a start over there. Like Nuamar, like Kudus, a lot of them get a start and then they end up going for big money from there. And get in there and get some of them on the cheap before, you know, these start becoming 30, 40 million players.
Definitely.
There's always an untapped market, isn't there? There's always like there's always every sort of generation an untapped market will pop up. It was like Norway in the 90s and lots of parts of Scandinavia, and then for a while it was like
our untapped markets everywhere outside the UK.
Outside the Northwest.
But then it was like America for a bit, wasn't it? And you know, it's
South America for Everton and like you say, Scandinavia. They're 2. We just don't entertain either of them. Ian Murphy, new
Japan
member.
As well, and Korea.
Welcome, Ian.
Japan's a decent one at the moment, to be fair. There's more Japanese players in Europe than there has been for a while.
4 million quid, Matoma, for pace and matching goals and pace and matching. And Phil Gaming, a new member as well. Nice one, Phil. Welcome. Listen. It's too early to be depressed. Everton.
You're the one who's depressed.
No, I'm coming back now.
He's bigging himself up.
Get a coffee in you and
I've had
cinnamon bun or something.
I've had 4 coffees.
Oh, a cinnamon bun.
Coffees are out.
If only we had cakes.
We've got no.
If only we had cakes.
If we had cakes, you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm coming back because I know I've just got a sense. Then Kevin Thelwell sat round with his sound, having a sound bath like that.
Yeah.
With his, and he's just sent me vibes going, Baz, I'm on it, mate. I'm sorting a fast winger in the next 9 hours. So I'm on it, Kev. I trust you. You won't let this football club or its fan base down. Recruitment team, I know you won't in this next 9 hours. You will deliver. You will not allow this window to be a failure by failing to get a fast winger. So I've got faith in you. I've got faith.
Have you got? Can we touch a screen or bend a spoon or something?
Something.
Or like he slices his hands over like a cauldron and and he makes like.
Have you got a cauldron? Have you brought a cauldron with you?
No, Bellwell's got one. No, he's got one. He's going to make one last play. He's going to make a blood sacrifice to the old gods.
Now that might be persuading Nuamar to come. It might be getting Nonto. It might be getting players we don't know. Fast, light and quick, exciting players. Kevin Thelwell and the recruitment team are going to sort this. There's
Yeah.
no way. There's no way.
Throw a pair of Oasis tickets in for New Amari, he'll be right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Not sure anyone's
Guarantee
secure
he can go to
facilities.
Liverpool next year or something. Just tell him anything.
No one's got the facilities for that, Jack.
No, that's true.
We'll get Liam Gallagher on the blower. He owes us a favour.
Does he? Why?
Why does he also
The
favour?
time we cost Liverpool the league at Goodison Park and handed it to City twice.
Okay.
So, you know,
All right, well,
he
fair
owes
enough.
us, doesn't he?
Hey.
So he owes
Fair
us
enough.
2 tickets because we cost him twice. So we can give him a pair of tickets
Good
and he can
point,
bring
well
his
made.
mate. Can bring his mum.
Woo. Right. We're going to go over to more than a game at 2. The link will be here. We'll be back and forth, of course, we will be. So come over there. If you're interested, you don't have to go nowhere, to be honest with you. But we're going to be discussing all the exciting clubs that are doing things. All of the ones who are there ready with their targets, not just throwing darts at a dartboard.
Where else
So-
would you throw them?
Where else would you throw? Well, you shouldn't be throwing them anywhere but a
No.
dartboard. So, the super highway link is ready for you. We'll see you in 5 minutes over there. Up the Toffee, signing fast, exciting wingers in the next 9 hours. See you in a minute.